I'm Annette Joseph. I'm the author of Italy is My Boyfriend, and these are the top 10 tips I have for buying real estate in Italy. Before I even enter, I usually say how many people own the house. Who owns this house? Uno, due,
Tre.
Okay, so here we go. We're off to the races now, okay? The important question, which you never have to ask if you're buying real estate in the United States. How many people own this house? 1, 2, 3, 8, a family of 20? Are they truly ready to sell this? Do they agree? Because if you don't ask that question, you get very excited, your heart is in it, you want to buy it, and then they come back to you and they say, you know what, we have a problem. So this is a very important point. In Italy, houses are passed down from family to family. It is pretty typical that the homeowner will be there while you're looking at their house, which never happens in the US. Sometimes the whole family is there staring at you in the kitchen, and then they'll ask you after you've walked through how you like it. So don't be alarmed if the family or the owner is there. Okay. The other thing about Italy is Italians will never tell you like how many houses they own. If you say, I love this house and it's owned by 3 people, one of the people doesn't want to sell it, I walk away. Take your time, be patient, give yourself a couple of years to find your place. Vacation in the place that you're thinking about living. Do it for at least 2 or 3 summers. If you can afford to work remotely, rent something in the town before you make the investment. It's a good way to get to know everybody. Don't do this by yourself. Get some people to help you. And I had plenty of help. Trust me, I had help. I had people on the ground. They were Americans that had lived here for 30 years. If you read my book, you'll read all about it. This is a very steep learning curve here. And Vivi and I learned some things the hard way, didn't we? The best way to find out about houses, honestly, is not through real estate agents. Here in Italy, it's word of mouth. So someone will say, you know, this is for sale, and you're like, I'll go look at it. Real estate agents sometimes have not great properties that they're trying to sell, and they will take you to those. This is the house where you start losing a little bit of faith. They'll just show you anything. Like, there's this, he knows me, why would I ever even want to, this is real wetness going on. I mean, that's all falling down. Even though you say to them, I want 3 bedrooms, I want to be able to do 2 bathrooms, I want a huge kitchen, and you'll wind up in this really teeny tiny house that you're like, why am I here? Why is he bringing me here? But it's in his arsenal and he wants to get rid of it, and he thinks, well, maybe this person will go, oh yeah, I want to live in Italy. It's really important, I think, before you even buy a house to kind of figure out geometry in town. It's like an inspector. They'll come through and they'll be really honest. We almost bought a house that had a river running underneath it, you know. I mean, it was like, I love this house, I want this house, it's magical. And then we realized it was super humid. There were huge cracks. The house was like splitting in half and sinking into the earth. So, not a good thing. So if you really love a property, it's worth paying them to come in and just make sure that the things that you want to do to it, you can do. If you have a friend in Italy and they live here already, those are the people, don't write below that I'm your friend in Italy, because like I can't go looking at houses with you. A reputable real estate agent, a recommendation is a good way to go. If you're really, really fearful, hire a company to help you buy your property. You cannot buy a house and like do a huge addition like you can in America. Here it's really like 30% of the footprint of the house. Now, this is where it gets sticky. If you have a couple outbuildings and you want to take them down, you can grandfather in that square footage and make one bigger house. Remember, your geometra will have someone draw a beautiful plan for your house, and then he has to take it to the community and they have to approve it. So you're kind of a little bit at the mercy of your geometra, so keep that in mind as well. My one big takeaway is don't start with a giant project. Try to find something small. That way you'll learn all the things about pulling humidity out of a stone house, which was something I had no idea I had to do. If it's full of humidity, even at my house, I have to paint almost every year when I come back because of the humidity, because the area, the Lunigiana, is humid because there's so much rain here. Terracotta floors, like what kind of care, what kind of sealer they need, how to use recycled things because they have gorgeous recycled things in Italy, where to get them, resources. This is a process. It's super fun. flipping real estate in Italy. The truth is Italians really don't buy real estate, so you're not flipping for them. If you are flipping and you're good at it in America, I have the same suggestion. Buy a small house, renovate it, see if it's doable. If you have a group of people that are super interested in buying and they trust you, I don't suggest it, but if you have a following, have at it. Go for it. It is not cheap to renovate in Italy. It's actually expensive. So don't think you could do it for the cheap, because you can't. And it's very hard to find good workers here, so you want to pay them well because they do really beautiful work. I mean, they are artists. How long it takes depends on how dilapidated. Does it have a roof? If it's a rubble, it could take 4 years. If it's semi-okay, it could take 2 years. We go through a house where a renovation was started by what looks like two people that were DIYing. Of course, I would rip everything out that they did. In Questo, they did drywall. It's paper. I mean, they put new windows in this. Cheap new windows, cheap. Look at these switches and look at the way this is finished. Oh, don't DIY, people. So it really depends on the house, how long it takes. I mean, things go slowly. It depends what time of year. If you start a renovation in August, it's not even going to get started until probably November, October. We've lived here for 7 years. We just finished our last interior renovation. And mind you, we left it for 4 years because after 3 years of renovating this place, I just couldn't even look at stucco or anything again. So in America, you go on the internet, you're moving to Colorado, and you find a real estate agency, a big one like Caldwell Banker or something, just a big agency. I don't even know if that's a real estate agency, but whatever, you get my drift. You go to Zillow, you tell them exactly what you want, and they're sending you stuff every morning, and it's beautifully photographed, and it's beautifully staged. They have all the dimensions of they don't have that here. That is just not a thing. You go on the internet, houses in Lunigiana, you find a house you think looks good, email the real estate agent. They may or may not email you back. If you really like the house, you email them again. The other thing you can do is print it off, find a real estate agent in that town, see if they represent this or if they know who represents it. So it takes you about a month to get to the house that you really like. The internet is semi-useful. When you get there with the picture and you stand in front of the house, you're gonna go, this just doesn't look anything like it. And they tell you have a certain amount of acres. This piece of property right here, not yours if you buy this house. This piece of property, dog cannot poop there. Dog can poop here. It's very complicated. Start learning Italian immediately because it's not an easy language to learn unless you're one of these people that just learns languages super easy. It really helps to speak Italian, understand. When you buy your house, it's all done in Italian and they read the entire contract out in Italian. It's a 3-hour meeting. So it's good to know Italian because it's good to hear what they're saying. And it's contractual Italian. Getting a lawyer that speaks English and speaks Italian is great. Not that hard to find. That's not a big deal. When you buy a house in Italy, here's the main thing. List the positive, list the negatives. There's never going to be just a positive list. There's always going to be that negative list. It's a lot like getting married. If you can live with the negative list, then obviously you can live with the positives. It is just like picking a spouse, because you got to live with the bad stuff. That's the stuff that has to be okay with you. Is it worth it? Absolutely. If you're into living in Italy and you like doing renovation, it's a super fun process. I learned so much. I know so much more about renovating, what to look for and pitfalls, about looking at real estate and what I'm looking for.